Hello, welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of Sovik. It's been a couple of weeks now since my last recording. I'm afraid I've been on holiday in real life, so I've just got back and got back into the swing of bits and pieces. So I've got a bit of a mailbox to sort of deal with, and I'll give you an update on where we are in terms of the plans going ahead. So today's date is the 28th. We're in the middle of Hallow's End. It's been going on now, I believe, for over a week now. So we're going to look to try and get involved in some of the Hallow's End business as well, some of the event, the world event, see if we can make some gold off that and see if we can have a bit of fun with that. Sovik is currently in Orgrimmar. After our last episode where we were in the Southern Barrens, I brought him here. We've been relisting the auctions, we've sold a few bits and pieces, so I haven't emptied the mailbox. Even a few things I've bought I haven't emptied from the mailbox. So let's get involved in that and let's get some of the things listed and see what we've sold. So we're currently on 122,000 gold. There's a little bit more gold in terms of a mailbox, so let's have a look. So we've got 6,000 gold sat here, which is not too bad, but as you can see, if I scroll right down, I last emptied this 16 days ago, so you can see it has been like a good sort of couple of weeks since I've been involved. So let's go through this. So some tailoring bits and pieces there. That's a transmog piece I've picked up, some wool cloth, a few more transmog bits and pieces. Some of these things, like this design, I would have bought off the auction house and flipped again. Some more, I can't remember if I picked it up or flipped it, but a few more transmog pieces. Okay, so we've got a couple of buys in here. The first one here is this heavy quiver, which I bought, you can see, for 8 silver. Now the heavy quiver is a 10 slot bag which has been removed from the game. It used to be a hunter bag for arrows, hence why it's a quiver. Now I picked it up for 8 silver. Supposedly it's got a reasonably decent sale average and the region market value average of 500,000. Now I don't suppose I'm going to get 500,000 for it, however for 8 silver I can't see me losing any gold on that, so that's pretty good. I also bought 3 cured heavy hide hair, 3 of them for 12 silver. You can see they currently go for 99 gold, so they'll be relisted. Again, a few bits of transmog, a few bits of tailoring stuff which I've got rid of. Got some enchants there. These are the glove enchants I picked up, I believe, a few episodes ago, which I've been sort of slowly getting through. Again, nothing overly spectacular. So the Dead Mines Cleaver, I picked it up, I believe, for 125 and sold that for, well, it looks like 700 before auction house cuts. Some more of those agility enchants, which are good. Okay, I've got a design hair, which I picked up for 4 gold. And is worth 1,400. So again, when I empty the bags, we'll get that listed back on the auction house. A few more sort of transmog bits and pieces I've picked up here. So male combat armor I picked up for 5 gold is currently worth 2,000. The skull splitting crossbow I picked up for 1 gold 72 is currently 1,200. And the steel spark greatsword of a fever flare, which I picked up, this is nearly a week ago, and for 50 gold is 67,000 gold. So again, I don't suspect I'm going to get 67,000 gold for this steel spark greatsword. If we get more than 50 gold, that'll be nice. Mystic's cape, 2 more cured heavy hide. This one that I picked up for slightly more, 5 gold for both of those two. What else have we got there? A couple of more auction house flips. So that's war torn pants and some iron ore I picked up and flipped for that. I've got some blockades cards, some inscription cards, which I saw for 1 silver each. So the Ace of Blockades is worth 125, and the 7 of Blockades is 99 gold. So again, for 1 silver, you're not going to go too far wrong. A few more bits and pieces up here. The Mithril Mechanical Dragonlings are the ones which I bought for the auction house for a few silver each. I think I got like 20 of them, and I'm still getting through most of those. A few more sort of transmog, tailoring bits and pieces, nothing spectacular to see there. You can start seeing the prices of some of these start dropping. I think someone has done some tailoring, thrown loads of stuff onto the auction house after they've been doing a little bit of levelling up. So I'm really competing with that at the moment. You can see the prices recently have not been particularly good. The Ghostwalker Bindings, again, is either a piece I picked up through questing, or I bought in the auction house and I flipped. Got 500 gold for that, minus the auction house cut. And again, some more of these greater agility enchant gloves. So that's 6,222 added to the pot, which over the space of 2 weeks not playing isn't too bad, but it just shows that you need to be on this constantly chipping away doing stuff, because 6,000 is neither here nor there. So we'll just empty all that, we'll take all that anyway. Very, very interested to see what I can get for that heavy quiver. believe it's probably going to be the only one on the auction house. I have no idea why someone listed it at 8 silver, as it's been removed from the game, but we can just throw it on and see what we get from that. Okay, so that's the mailbox emptied. Let's go put some of these back on the auction house.
I got a deal for you. Got the best deals anywheres.
Okay, so let's start with the first one, which is this heavy quiver. Now it's an interesting one. Where do I price this at? Someone might want it. It's been removed from the game, so let's throw this on for 50,000 for 24 hours. Let's throw it on for 24 hours and let's see what happens to it. If it goes, that's 50,000. If it doesn't go, we might get an email, so maybe someone's interested and we sort of play around with them. I don't suppose this is going to be a quick seller, but you know, for 8 silver we should be able to make a nice profit on this. So let's create that auction. The cured heavy hide, which is going to throw on whatever the going prices at the moment, which is 98 gold. So that's thrown up that on. This pattern I'm going to throw on for 499. Again, some people might sort of suggest, well, just throw it on, don't bother undercutting it. But what I want to do, I want people to see this as a potential bargain and flip themselves and buy it themselves. You can see I bought that for 4 gold. If I get 499 gold for it, I win, and if they can make a small profit out of that, fantastic. Male combat armor, I'm going to do the same sort of thing with that. It cost me 5 gold. I'm going to throw that on as well for 499. I don't want things sitting around, float, you know, 100 relistings. I want to, you know, try and get rid of things as quick as possible. This crossbow, I think a similar price to that will probably do. Let's throw that one on for 499. Okay, so this steel spark greatsword. So the region sale average of this is 5,342. And it's currently on there for 67,000 with the lowest sale rate that you can possibly get of 0.01. So let's throw this on. It is a unique appearance. There's no other swords that share the same appearance. So let's throw that on for 4,999. And let's see if we can get rid of that. And then we've got these 2 cards up here, so let's try and get rid of these fairly cheap. Put these on for 49 each. We haven't got inscription, so there's no point keeping hold of these at the moment. And let's do that. Okay, so the only other things I've got these crimson silk vests, which are down at 1 gold 53, which I'm not going to look to try and sell, it's just too cheap. And we've got some patterns up here, which you can also see are fairly cheap. The reason I haven't put this one on, because I've already actually got one on the auction house, so we won't worry about that either. And then the rest of the stuff we've got in our bags. I can't remember if I was showing you this on the last one. I picked up this weapon called the Bringer of Death, which looks like a really good 2-handed staff, which we can use at level 27. I picked it up for, I believe it was about 4 gold, although it doesn't say. It's worth 150, so we're going to keep that. We've also got in here some wrists, which is level 18, so in 2 levels time, which look very good as well. 200% upgrade, not really worth selling. And we've also got some trousers we can use at level 23. Again, look very good. 75% upgrade what we've got at the moment. Not worth selling at 5 gold. And that's kind of where we are at the moment. The rest of the stuff. Oh, we've got a ring here as well at level 18. I've actually listed that a few times and it hasn't sold. So as it's got +6 intellect, it's 197% upgrade on what we've got at the moment. It's probably worth just sitting on this as well. What I'm not going to do in this recording is go through and buy some more bits and pieces. Search the auction house because I don't want to bore people too much, so we'll just crack on. Okay, so the last time we were questing, we were in Southern Barrens, and we're going to head back to Southern Barrens and finish a zone. Now, with the stat squish, the level squish, and the fact that you can now go to different zones, you know, different continents to do your leveling, it has given me a bit of thought about where we should go, what we should do, and what we should skip, because clearly we can't do everything. Oh, that's me being disconnected. Let me see if I can reconnect to that again. I don't know if that's a server problem or a problem on my end. No, I seem to still be working fine. They have been doing a bit of maintenance on the servers in recent days, so it might be a reason of that. And it's very early morning. Again, I'm EU. It's about 10:30 my time in the morning, so it's very early on the US side, so I might be doing some tweaks back end on the servers. Okay, well, we appear to be on the lift. That literally did just cut out. Okay, yeah, so what I was saying before the servers dropped or we got kicked out, we head to Southern Barracks. Walk and talk. We have to go all the way back to where we were questing. Is we need to decide where we're going to go. So, at the moment, we're level 16. For anyone that is not aware, in all of the sort of traditional vanilla zones now, you can go up to quest really up to level 30. So, Winter Spring, Felwood, you know, Tanaris, all up to level 30, but exactly the same on all these zones. Now, if you went into Mount Hyjal after this, that's like 30 to 35. So, at level 16, we're probably got, if we stayed in the vanilla zones, we've probably got Southern Barrens would take us up to say 20. If we went somewhere else, we'd go up to 25 and another zone 30. So we're probably after Southern Barrens got 2 more vanilla zones if we wanted a quest all the way up to level 30. Now, if we work backwards, the only place to quest from 45 to 50 is Zandalar. So what I'm probably going to look to do is get to Zandalar maybe a bit earlier than 45, maybe say 40, and then put the last 10 levels on in Zandalar. We're Horde, so this will be where we're going to look to do. So 10 levels would easily be able to do this. You know, potentially we could come here a little bit early if we really wanted to. If you're looking again at say maybe 4 or 5 levels per zone, very, very comfortable to do that. So let's work on the basis that we potentially get here at level 40. So if we're going to get there at level 40 and we're saying in the vanilla zones from 30, that only gives us 10 levels. One thing I would like to do is go to Draenor and do the garrison. Now the garrison you can now start at level 10. So potentially if I wanted to, I could just sack off the Southern Barrens, head straight to Draenor, get the garrison up and running and run around all these zones and, you know, do some questing around there. And I don't mind this area too much. But we need to do that before we get to level 40. So how long do we want to spend in Draenor? So let's say we got here at 35 and we only did one zone, which was Frostfire Ridge, and we did that from 35 to 40. We then went into the BFA into Zandalar and then did that from 40 to 50. Obviously when we get to 50 we're then looking at Shadowlands. Then that leaves from then level 30 to 40 if we stay with the vanilla zones, which is again only 10 levels. Now what do you do for those 10 levels? Are we going to really skip all of Outland, for instance? You know, we can go to Outland now with a new sort of way the leveling works. Are we really going to skip all of that? What about going to Northrend? You know, Northrend's fantastic. Are we going to skip that one as well? So we're going to have to make some decisions about what content we're going to do and which, more importantly, what are we going to skip, because we can't do everything. And it's a tough one. Another place we're going to potentially miss out on is Deepholm. You know, Deepholm is 30 to 35. I enjoyed questing around Deepholm. We're going to miss that as well. If we do Deepholm, then we're probably going to have to skip Mount Hyjal or Oldham or the Twilight Highlands, because it's all in the 30 to 35 mark. And talking about all of that, we haven't even talked about Pandaria. Now Pandaria, again, we could go straight there. So we're going to have to be a little bit sort of choosy about where we're going to go and where we're going to do our questing. So we're not going to be able to get all of it in. Now, at the moment, you know, we're in the Southern Barrens. We are going to finish the Southern Barrens zone as we've just started that. We need to get back down to this area down here. In fact, let's just start walking and talking. So we will finish this as we started the zone, and it'd be nice to complete and do all the quests in here. Oh, there's one of these Hallows End buckets, which we haven't actually looked at yet. Let's go and grab that. Candy bucket. Candy buckets like this are located in throughout the realms. Go ahead, take some. So we actually get 1,100 experience of this, which is probably somewhere around about, it's not 10%, let's say somewhere about 7%. So let's grab that. And we have turned into a skeleton costume, which is quite funky, and we also picked up some handful of treats. And from that we got a hallowed wand, which is a gargoyle. Put a gargoyle costume on targeted party member, and we've also picked up a tricky treat, and we got the achievement trick or treat as well, which is pretty cool. Now I think these just all they really do is just speed you on. I don't think they do anything else. But we'll say in skeleton form for a bit of fun. Okay, so let's mount back up again and head down to where we need to go do our questing. Yeah, so it's a bit of a tough one in terms of where we go to next. So I think I'm going to finish the Southern Barrens. I don't see any reason why not to go and finish that. And I think finishing the Southern Barrens will put us somewhere around, let's say, 20 to 22 by the time we finish all that off. So once we've done that, then we just need to work out where we're going to go to next. Okay, let's try and dodge all of these dinosaurs. These raptors. Which we didn't do very successfully. Okay, so let's take him down. We've still got skinning from that, but I'll talk about professions in a little bit. Because that, I suspect, is going to change. So, I think the plan is this. Because we're not going to be able to do all of the content. I think I'm going to do Southern Barrens. That'll take us up sort of to 22. I think I'm going to do at least one more zone in Vanilla after that. And then look to leave Vanilla somewhere close to 30, if not 30. Obviously, there's no point going beyond 30 because we're not going to get anything from it. The gear's going to dry up. What we also need to do, which we haven't done of any on this character so far, is some of the instances, some of the dungeons, which I'd like to do. So, before we leave the Vanilla area, I'd like to have done all of the different dungeons. So I think the plan is this. We'll finish the Southern Barrens, we'll get all that done. Once we've finished the Southern Barrens, sorry, we're going to start entering this the questing area soon. There we need some of these hinds. So once we finish Southern Barrens, I'm going to then start looking at getting some of the instances done. And what I want to do with the instances, I want to do each one once. So, you know, stockades, you know, RFK, RFD, all the low level ones, Wailing Caverns, what I do all of them just once each. I don't want to just spam the same dungeon, which try and do one each. And what we'll probably do is we'll queue for them specifically rather than a random dungeon. The first one could be a random dungeon, but we're going to queue for them, so we're not going to do the same one sort of multiple times. In fact, I don't think I skinned the last one of these. I didn't. Let's go back and get the skin off him. So we're going to go through all the dungeons. Now, doing the dungeons for the first time will also give us a bit of a boost as well. So we're going to have to kind of see where we are. So we'll finish some Barrens. We'll try and run through all the instances. But we've unlocked at the moment before we move on to another area. If we're still not at 30 by that stage, what we're probably going to do is do another zone. Maybe like Bellwood or Winter Spring, something along those lines. When we get to level 30, we're then going to move. And I think what we're probably going to do is we're going to head to... It's going to be a toss-up between Outland or it's going to be Pandaria. So we're going to go and do one of those. And we'll go and do that for another 5 to 10 levels. Probably 5 levels, and then we'll hit Draenor at level 35 perhaps, and go and do our Gauss and do 5 levels there. So it'll be working backwards. Battle for Azeroth, so Zandalar at level 40. Probably Draenor at level 35, so we can get the garrison set up and go and do some questing in Frostfire Ridge. We're then going to, again, working backwards. So that's 35. We're going to then probably do somewhere like, let's call it Outland for 5 levels. And then we're going to obviously do the instances, finish this zone, and potentially one zone. And then that will take us, believe it or not, to max level. So it really isn't a long way away. Do we need any more of these? We do one more. So I think that's what we're going to do. Now, one of the things which is a consideration, which I alluded to earlier, is the professions. So at the moment, the professions I've got is tailoring and skinning. So skinning was always one which is going to go because we haven't got leather working, and you know we're just going to sell the skin. So the medium leather at the moment is worth 2 gold. The heavy leather's worth just shy of 8 gold, which is okay. However, I feel that there are better professions out there to make gold than skinning. We got skinning, if you remember, instead of herbalism because we didn't want the extra experience that herbalism was going to give us. Who's attacking me? Let's just wander off. We didn't want that extra experience, so we went on to skinning. But we're not making a great deal of gold with our skinning, so I think I'm going to drop that. The next question is, what do we do with the tailoring? So we have been making some gold on tailoring, but again, it's sort of low-level sort of gold. And what we don't want to do is have our bags or banks filled with crimson silk vests, which we can't shift. And tailoring itself is great. You know, we can make bags out of it. We can make some transmog pieces. But what I don't want to do is sit on all the stock. I don't want to sit at an auction house or create a bank tune where I'm literally just trying to sell tailoring stuff. So what I would like to do is try and get something which is, I think we need to kill these, get something which is a bit more quicker to sell. So where does this sort of kind of take us? At the moment, and I haven't 100% decided, but I think I'm going to drop skinning for mining. And the reason being is there's some very good mining routes, so I can do that off stream to make some sort of gold away from recordings, especially when we get our flying up as well. I'm going to have to kill this guy. So what I'm probably going to do is swap skinning for mining. If we go into Outland, the mining, we've got the Fell Iron up there, maybe Corium as well, Adamantite, that all sells very well, so we know we're going to make some gold there. We've also got places such as, if we decided to head up into Northrend, we've got the Titanium Saronite and the Cobalt sort of routes. They're all very good as well, so if we decided to go make some gold up there, that'd be fantastic. And also, as soon as we do learn the flying, there's other ones in the vanilla areas, like, the iron ore, which is very good as well. Thorium. We've killed enough of those, haven't we? What are we after? We need some of these guys. So I'm probably going to change to mining. Again, mining is one of the ones we know that if you collect ore and you put it on the auction house at a competitive price, it will go very quickly because it's got high sell rates. So then, do we then swap tailoring for a profession which we can use for mining for? And that's something we is worth considering. Maybe something like jewel crafting, so we can still use the rings and we can use the necklaces and bits and pieces. So that's certainly something which we can then be self-sufficient of ourselves. We don't need to buy anything off the auction house. We can just go and do our own bits and pieces. The disadvantage to that with the tailoring is obviously we can't then make the tailoring bits and pieces which we need for collecting all the things. We'd have to the bind on pickup bits and pieces. We would never be able to get that again unless we switched over to tailoring. But that could be something we switch back to again in the future once we've got enough gold. If potentially we get rid of mining, we can bring tailoring back up. But I think at the moment, I'm definitely going to switch skinning to mining. Probably not at the moment. Probably after Southern Barrens, because there's loads of things we can skin in here. And I'm probably going to swap tailoring for either jewel crafting, so we can be self-sufficient, or enchanting. And the reason enchanting is good is because the enchants we can use ourselves. The enchants generally sell fairly well. A lot of them do sell fairly well, and it will save us money in the long run as we swap gear and people use enchants. So enchants are very popular. We can use that. So I think that's where we're going to go for professions. Now, it could be argued that we made progress in tailoring, and we've also made progress in skinning. Skinning we were always going to drop, so I'm not really too fussed about that. And in terms of tailoring, we're up to level 260 of 300. So what I'd probably look to do is make all the stuff which we've got the materials of at the moment, learn all those items, so we learn the appearances, or maybe just make it and sell it onto the auction house. And then switch over to, as I said, jewel crafting possibly, for the rings, low-level trinkets and bits and pieces, necklaces, or enchanting. And I still haven't really decided what I want to do on that. The enchants will sell quicker, but the jewel crafting with the mining will mean we're self-sufficient. So it's a bit of a sort of a toss-up there as well. Again, with Shadowlands coming along, I just need to kind of make a decision how good the jewel crafting is going to be in Shadowlands. Jewel crafting for several expansions now has not been particularly great. However, with a new influx of low-level characters, I've certainly noticed on some of my other accounts that some of the low-level rings and necklaces do sell pretty well. So what I'll need to do is have a look at the auction house here, have a look and see how much competition I've got both with the low-level... Did I kill them? No, I still need one more. It's cool balls. With the low-level... the rings, the necklaces, is there loads on the auction house? Is there not too many? Have a look at the enchants, the popular ones. Again, is the market flooded? Again, another thing with enchants as well is if you're trying to be in the enchant market, you need to be listing on all the time. I'm going to do this on this one character. I'm not going to sit by the mailbox constantly. He needs to be out and about questing for now until he gets maximum level. Trying to seek fame and fortune in the open world rather than seeking fame and fortune from the auction house. So, right, we need one more. Who do we need in here? We're supposed to release open these cages.
What brings you here?
Yes, that's my thinking at the moment. So it's either going to be enchanting or jewel crafting. I just need to work out which one I fancy doing. But yeah, anyway, that's for another day. How are we getting on inside here? These quests up at the moment, we're not seeming to be having too much issues with. We're still fairly well geared at the moment. Although I have noticed, again, the difference in levels here is a lot more stark than what it was on before the pre-patch. You know, you can go up a couple of levels and suddenly find yourself well behind the power curve. Okay, we need to find some more cages. Looks like there's one around here. We're going to get him. We're certainly not going to avoid him, are we? Literally on top of us. He must have just spawned, that's why he's not attacked us. We're not too far off leveling again. You know, I can see the benefit of why the level squish is in. You know, some people won't want to be spending, or the prospect of spending days trying to get themselves from level 1 to level 120, potentially, you know, moving up to level 130 with Shadowlands. You know, that is just too long. So I can see why they're reduced to Orphan. But the people who do enjoy questing, like I do, and moving through the zones and collecting the transmog, it does sort of shorten your journey. You get to the destination a lot quicker than potentially you might have wanted to. Okay, let's go and hand this one in. What's the other one we got? Oh, we got those overgrown vines. We need to clear them as well.
Oh.
Let's hand this in. And that levels us up. And we've now got Eye of Kilrog, which I think we had beforehand. Summons an Eye of Kilrog and binds your vision to it. The Eye is stealth and moves very quickly, but it's fragile. Let's tuck this over here, because I don't think it's a spell we're going to use particularly often. And we've got another quest. Speaking their language. The Quillboar are attacking because they perceive weakness. Strength is the only language they understand, so we will show them strength. Macabre withdraws a large horn from his satchel. This is admittingly crude work, but it will do. Bristleback leaders use horns like this to challenge one another for dominance. Sovik, I want you to challenge the Bristleback champion, Sabersnout, to single combat. Well, if I say single combat, I have got an imp as well. Defeat him in front of his followers, blow the horn at the Bristleback challenge ring due south of here, which is where we've just come from. So quest objectives: blow the horn of challenge in the Bristleback challenge ring and defeat Sabersnout in single combat. They're just shy of 3,000 experience. So let's take that quest. There's another quest popped up over here as well.
Hail.
A family divided. The children you see here were all rescued from Torajo when the fighting started. I'm trying to track down their parents. One of the refugees you rescued from the Quillboar recognised the strongest child as belonging to Kurge Amari Sternhorn. Moreover, he said Kurge was camped at the Fields of Blood just north of the Torajo massacre site. Sovik, please go there and tell Kurge Sternhorn that his child is alive and well. That sounds like a very honourable quest, so we'll take that. No questions there. However, I think what we'll do is we'll go and do the fighting ones. That sounds a lot more exciting. You can see that yellow diamond which is over there shows us which way to go, so let's head over that direction and we can kill these vines on the roots. Obviously the vines aren't going to do us a great deal of damage at range. There's nothing to loot from the vines, which is unfortunate. Right, probably going to have to kill this weed, lash vine. Okay, we've got another one of these vines over here. That'll put us up to 4 of 5. Again, we can just target him at range. He's a vine, he can't do anything to us. Easy done. No point going up to him because we can't loot him. Let's try and dodge between these scavengers and head back to the Bristleback camp. Is that the same one we were at before? No, it's a different one. So we actually haven't been down this one. Okay, I'm guessing we're going to have to fight our way in here. Okay, so let's blow the horn. Is that him? No, that looks like him. That big lump there. I will make an example of Orc, Snout Orc. Okay, let's see how tough he is. Him. Again, it's not really a fair combat because there's 2 of us and 1 of him, but I'm not going to make any complaints. Let's just Shadow Bolt him down. Hang on, he's brought some friends in here as well. What's going on? Drain life on him. And that should probably just about do it. Job done. Is that it? I believe so. What's this one over here? Is that the same quest? Speaking their language. Cool, so that's done. What's this one down here then? Oh, that's the family divided. Okay, we'll do that one on the route. I dare say as the quest line looks as the map goes, we're heading south anyway. So let's go and get that last vine. I'm going to go and hand that in and hand this one in, which we just done, speaking their language. So the vines are literally all over the place. And here's one here. So this little imp is doing pretty well for us. Obviously we lost the succubus with a level squish on it, which I don't think we've actually got her back yet. Let's have a look. No, we don't actually get her now for another 2 levels. Next level we get unending breath, which, you know, is useful in its, you know, in certain circumstances, but for most of the time it's not really going to help us. So it's still another 2 levels before we get her back. Okay, let's hand this one in. Have you taken the bristlebacks down a peg or 2? We give him back the Horn of Challenge. What, he attacked you with a dozen boars? I guess Quill will have her own ideas of what single combat means. Still, the bristleback will be left reeling after the blow you delivered. It will not be long before a new champion rises amongst them to stir up trouble, but at least this buys us some time to get these refugees relocated safely. Thank you, Sovik. The survivors owe you a great debt. No problem. Happy to help. And then Lane Tallgrass wanted us to do one which with the vines. Thank you, Sovik, but now on to the larger question. Where is this overgrowth coming from, and why is it raging out of control? Let's hand that in. A curious bloom. The great archdruid Naralex recently appeared here in the Barrens. He's either behind this mess or trying to fix it. Either way, you should talk with him before this jungle engulfs the whole world. He's in a small Tauren camp to the southeast. Along the path, it would be helpful for you to gather plant samples for him to study. The newest flower buds will tell him a great deal about the most recent changes in the jungle. So the objective here is to gather 10 unusual flower buds from budding flowers in the undergrowth. So we'll accept that. Okay, so let's have a bit of a stock check what we've got on at the moment. So we've got 2 quests left. We've got the flower one, which we need to kind of do, and we've got a family divided, which is the one where we need to go and find the father of the orphans, which we picked up. We've also still got the Low Road quest. If you remember from the last episode, we couldn't actually find where to pick that up from. So what we're probably going to do is we're going to carry on with this anyway. And once we finish the whole of the Barrens, if it's still there and it's still missing from our, if we still need to do that in terms of achieving, getting the, you know, the Southern Barrens storyline done, then we'll try and hunt it down again. But yeah, good progress. So I think I'll wrap this up for this episode. Obviously, it's a bit of recap what's going on at the moment. It's a 2-week mailbox empty. Talking about where we're going to go potentially after this. So as a recap again, finish the Southern Barrens, get all the instances in which we possibly can from the old vanilla dungeons, so that's both Kalimdor and Eastern Kingdoms, get all them done once each, see where we are level wise. If we're not level 30 yet, we'll probably go and do something like Winterspring or Felwood to the north of Kalimdor to get us up to level 30. At level 30 I think we're going to head into Outland and then put 5 levels on there. At level 35-ish, again all these are approximate levels, 35-ish we'll head over to Draenor and go and establish the garrison and maybe do Frostfire Ridge there, just so we've got the garrison and we can benefit from that. And then when we get to level 40, we're probably going to head into BFA, because at level 40 we've got 2 choices, either there or Legion, and I'm not the biggest fan of Legion, so we might as well head into Battle for Azeroth and do some quests in there for the last 10 levels. And then that will take us to max level. So there we go. Right, okay, I'm going to wrap this up now. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully you're still enjoying this. The next episode, I'm probably going to record this almost immediately after this. I don't think I'm going to head back to Auckland. We'll just put the stuff on the auction house. So I dare say nothing's really sold in the last 30 minutes, so I'll just crack back on. So again, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.